We're clearly in a world where theory doesn't do it. Words, words, words are empty. We're all just sick of television jingles and all that sort of stuff. So we need reality today. The younger generation calls it authenticity. The older generation calls it integrity. Now the fact is, it's only people who've really known the Lord for whom truth comes alive. Truth is set on fire. And that's the sort of thing that really changes life. Not abstract theories, not right doctrines, not correct this and that, but really knowing God as He is. Because, among other things, there's a beauty there. You know C.S. Lewis's wonderful story in The Great Divorce of the man who's on the bus on the way to heaven with a little lizard on his shoulder. He doesn't want to give it up. And it's the picture of that, what used to be called a besetting sin, what we call today an addiction. You know, something that grips us. We half love it, half hate it. We don't want to give it up. And after a while, it's become us. And you see this in the sexual world and other things like that. And eventually, when the burning one, the angel, is allowed to kill this wretched little lizard, and the man shrieks in horror with what might happen, what happens is this shrunken, miserable little lizard suddenly starts to transform and becomes a magnificent stallion. And Lewis is surely saying that God's wonderful gift, in this case of sex, with addictions and perversions and other things, becomes a miserable, shrunk little thing that controls us. But liberated, sexuality with God's standards and God's beauty and God's freedom comes into its own as an incredibly wonderful thing. You've got really three positions that are on offer today very often. One is basically self-help. You know, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Do it. Whatever the counsel you give is, one form or another, right thinking, you know, whatever it is, do it yourself. Self-help. And at the end of the day, it's terribly depressing because very few of us can change the things that are the deep things that grip us. Then you've got a second way, which actually goes back to the Greeks, which is half right. You do the right thing by laying down good habits. So what you don't do according to your first nature, because a lot of us have flaws, you can train yourself to do, just as a piano player practices 8 hours a day and becomes a brilliant concert pianist. So you can practice certain things and over a lifetime lay down what Tocqueville calls the habits of the heart, and you can become different. Now there's a certain truth in that. Nietzsche called it a long obedience in the same direction. And too many people today think of self-help and the instantaneous, whereas there's some things we've got to practice at doing rightly. But that doesn't take you the full way. The extra dimension is the supernatural. In other words, the things that you and I and no one else simply can't do. Only God can do by the power of the Holy Spirit. Now, some Christians pretend there's nothing we do. All up to God, and if He doesn't zap us, I'm not responsible. I just stay where I am. That's bad too. We've got to do what we've got to do. But some of the deepest things that have to be done are what only God can do by the power of His Holy Spirit.